And hello all, and welcome back to Short and Smokey, the short cigar review series. We're now a few weeks into spring, but it's actually a bit cooler than the last couple days I've actually shot one of these. So try to stick around out here. I only got my flannel on, don't have anything heavier. But today we're going to be smoking the La Antiguedad series from My Father Cigars. I never have smoked this one before, so naturally it's completely new to me. So we're going to cut into this and see what I think. Alright, so first impression on this, getting a lot of earth. A lot of earth on this cigar. Not to the point that it's tasting like dirt, but there is a good bit of earth in there. There are some notes of coffee in there, kind of really salty on the forefront here. But right from the start, this is a pretty strong cigar, so I feel like I'm going to have a time with this one. But anyways, I'll go ahead and keep smoking and let you know what I think into the first third. Alright, so that's about the end of the first third here. And as you can see, the ash is holding up very well on this cigar. The burn's been pretty nice so far. Had a little bit of a weird spot. I touched it up, but that could have just been how I lit it. But yeah, so far, I was starting out with a lot of pepper on this cigar. But here in the last few minutes, that's smoothed out quite a bit. I'm getting some kind of oaky notes in there. Good bit of cocoa is finally coming in on that. Still got a little coffee. Still a pretty strong cigar, though, I will say that. But that harsh pepper on there is definitely mellowing out. So, so far this is being a pretty enjoyable cigar. And I would like to apologize for my intro there, that if that seemed a little rushed, for a second it looked like a bunch of cars were pulling up here and I thought I was about to get run out. So, it didn't happen naturally. There's nobody here but me now. But yeah, so that's why I kind of rushed through that. And you'll see in a minute that I also forgot to, get my footage of the appearance of this cigar before I lit it up. Again, I thought I was getting rushed, so I went ahead, cut it, lit it up, didn't even think about any of that, and all for nothing. So, anyways, just wanted to get that out of the way. But we're going to go ahead and get into the second third of this now, and I'll let you know what I think after that. Alright, that's about the end of the second third there. Pretty much all that pepper is completely phased out at this point. It's becoming very creamy now, and there's still a lot more cocoa here on it now. That's a lot more forward, and still some woodiness in there, but some sweet spice, kind of like some nutmeg, maybe cinnamon is coming in, and getting some fruity notes in there as well. And honestly, getting into the final third, it's somewhat tasting like a little bit of licorice is coming in. There's a little bit of bitterness. But so far, this is still a pretty enjoyable cigar. The burn is kind of doing some weird things. You can kind of see here, it's, a little all over the place. Probably only knock a point or two off for that because I think a lot of that might have to do with it's a little breezy out today. So I feel like it's not burning quite right because of that. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and finish this thing out, and I'll let you know what I think at the end. Alright, so that's about all we're going to get out of this cigar today. Just has gone out on me, so rather than trying to light it up again, we'll go ahead and call it a day. Again, this was the La Antiguedad, that I'm sure I'm not pronouncing right, from My Father Cigars, an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper with Nicaraguan filler at a 52 ring gauge and 5 1/4 in length. This was a boxed press Robusto at a cost of only $8 at Casa de Monte Cristo in Mooresville, North Carolina. Pretty good price for this little cigar, actually. Giving it a V cut and having aged about 3 months now, The band on this, a perfect 5, as just about anything from My Father Cigars. They always put a lot of work into the band. And the appearance, a good 9. There's really just a couple little pinholes in the wrapper itself. They didn't go through, so it's not Beatles. But, just a couple little pinholes here and there. Nothing really of any big deal. But I feel like that also might have contributed to that weird burn a little. I gave it a good 8 for the draw. I had to knock off a couple points there because even though this was a V-cut, which is typically a bit tighter of a draw, it was still kind of lacking. It was fairly loose throughout, and only knocked off a couple points for the burn, giving it an 8 with that. And I feel like, again, that had a lot to do with the weather today. It's a little bit breezy out, kind of cool out today. So, I didn't really take too much off for that, but it did start going out a little more frequently toward the end, and it was a little uneven. A perfect 10 for the construction, though. The wrapper never came undone, no peaking, nothing out of the way there at all, so, good on that. And an 8 for the smoke output, was kind of lacking there, too. As for the strength of this, I did have to knock a couple points off for this cigar because it was very strong. Like, I am honestly sitting here right now, even after eating a little bit before I smoke this, I'm pretty dizzy right now. So I did knock just a couple points off for that. Into the flavors, I've talked a lot about it. Starting out very peppery, some saltiness in there, and a lot of earth right at the start. But, it smoothed out. We got more coffee, cocoa, some wood in there. Then, of course, it also sweetened out into some, like, cinnamon, nutmeg, and some fruit in there. Couldn't really put my finger on what the fruit was. But after a while, it kind of tasted a little bit like apricot or some type of more, more bitter cherry of some kind in there. And then into the final third, it did get a little more bitter, and my enjoyment kind of went down a little from there because it was a lot of licorice. The pepper come back, some espresso came in there, and it got, like I said, kind of sour right there on the end. So, as for the flavor, I only knocked off a couple points because it started out really good for me. The first and second third was absolutely great on this cigar, so I only knocked off 2 points, giving it an 8 for flavor, but a 10 for the body. And, of course, smoking this entire thing, giving it a 5. And as for that $8 price point, I had to give it a 10. I mean, yeah, the burn was a little off, and there were, some points there missing in the build, but only $8 for this cigar. It's an hour and a half smoke. I really couldn't count off too much because it was a very enjoyable cigar just right until the final third there. But, like I said, I just really can't complain on this one, giving it a final score of 89, so not bad at all for this cigar today. Now, just a quick channel update. I'm not sure when this will actually make it onto the channel because I am still in the process of moving the studio as of filming this. This will probably be the last thing I will edit before I go ahead and take down the computer and everything and move it over. I'm getting some other stuff set up over there right now. But the good thing is I have quite a few videos stockpiled on the channel, and I think if I space them out just enough, maybe every couple weeks, I think it will last me a good few months, and by then I'll definitely be ready. Hopefully, all depends on the internet situation, getting that all transferred. But I think if things work out just right, then by the time all those videos air, then I'll already have some more edited and ready to go up as soon as we get the internet in place. But this will probably be the last episode of Short and Smokey for a little while. After this, I plan to start filming some episodes of the Smoking Hour and maybe some Short and Smokey on locations just to kind of fill those gaps. But also, who knows, moving over to this new studio, I actually might just start filming Short and Smokey over there, like I said. I love this park right here. It's a good place to just relax and film these. But, it is a public park. I do have a lot of people coming in and out of here, so sometimes filming these can be a bit of a hassle. But I guess we'll just be playing everything by ear, and of course I'll keep you all up to date on my Instagram page. So again, I thank you all for joining me today on this episode of Short and Smokey, and I will see you all next time. Stay smoky, my friends.